Hi. So in this video, I wanted to go over a software called LangFlow, but before we dive directly into LangFlow, we need to talk about its predecessor, which is LangChain. And LangChain is an interesting piece of software, and so as we can see from their GitHub documentation. Essentially, LangChain is a framework for developing applications powered by language models, and they believe that it's most powerful to make them differentiated. And how they do that and go about that is they want to make anything that attaches to a LLM or a large language model both data aware, make it able to attach to other data sources, and then also make it agentic, able to interact with its environment, actually do things. So when you think of the GPT model that actually allows you to go out and create tasks, like TaskGPT, that's based off of LangChain. And so LangChain is essentially a back-end framework for developers that's been around for a few months that allows developers specifically to build back-end apps. And so like any sort of like GPT app that you're seeing out on the App Store now, or apps that are related to LLMs, a lot of them are built off of LangChain on the back end. And then so as a development and a kind of forward development of LangChain, and to make that more accessible, they created a product called LangFlow. And LangFlow, the difference between LangFlow and LangChain is that LangFlow is a front-end editor and like a front-end GUI for LangChain. And then if you're familiar with Lucidchart, for example, I think Lucidchart is kind of like the best visual comparison to what LangFlow looks like. And then so when you first launch it, you have this interface, this great interface, just like you would in Lucid. And then you can adjust the size and zoom in and zoom out of what you're looking at. And then to start, it's kind of unintuitive to start when you're first looking at this, because everything that you see is just in gray. But when you actually like expand the tabs here, the very first thing that you can notice is that it's color coded. And then so the beautiful thing about these color codes is that it makes it really easy as far as puzzle pieces when you go into this. There are a few things that are not directly intuitive with the app. So the very first thing is that you want to read the documentation and play around with the app definitely before diving in, because it's you don't start, for example, with agents and then go down the list. For example, let's say that I want to build out a simple flow here. The very first thing and the very first element that I would want to start off with would be LLMs. And then I get my choice here of either Chat OpenAI, and then I can bring it here. And then same with like Lucid, or again, I think Lucid is the best comparison for this. Just dragging it directly from the interface, and then I can bring it over here to my chart. And then since that's a little small, I can start zooming in and take a look, and then we can always zoom out once we start adding a whole bunch of things here. And then so with GPT, it's really straightforward. You get access to either GPT 3.5 or GPT 4, and then you essentially put in your Open API key and then the number of tokens. And then you also have access to other examples, so like such as, for example, the Hugging Face Hub, which is essentially off of GPT-2. And then so you put in your token there as well. And then also OpenAI, and then the other one that I'll show is Llama. And then so with Llama, essentially you just have to spin up a space or a path. So if you have a model path on like Hugging Face, for example, and you already have a Llama space or a Llama model spun up in on that path, you just enter your path here, a number of tokens, and then give it the temperature. And then so once you essentially you start off with the LLM, then you want to build it out. You want the LLM to actually do something. So that's like what LangFlow and LangChain do specifically, is they add on to this functionality. And then so I'll use Llama as the example. And then so let's say that we want to add, let's make it a CSV agent. And then so the very first thing that we would do is just like the puzzle pieces. So we can see here the good thing, and one of the things that I like about this is that it's purple to purple. So then we just connect the purple, and then boom, we have that there. And then with this particular, making it a CSV agent, essentially we just create the path, and then we would essentially like add a file as to what exactly we would want, what CSV file we would want the particular LLM to pull from in this instance. But like we can also, let's say for one of the things that I haven't personally figured out within this is how to, I know that you can, but how to chain LLMs together. So within this particular flow that we're working on and we're looking at here, the next thing that I would do to kind of just illustrate this more out would be I'd start with a different LLM model. So let's say that we wanted to, we have our, in this particular flow, we have our llama model that's going to call a CSV agent, and then we have our chat open API model that we're going to have it call a SQL agent. And then so again, we connect the LLM to the SQL agent there, and then essentially that's it for that type of flow. And then showing off one more example again, like I really like this interface. Just I could use use the plus and minus here to illustrate further exactly how to zoom out. But so in this instance, we'll go back to our LLMs, and then we'll pick a Hugging Face Hub this time. So in this instance, now we have multiple LLMs, and then we'll say in this instance, we since we already have SQL and CSV, let's make it a JSON agent. And then so this one's a little bit more interesting because so we can see that we have our LLM, and then we also have our toolkit. And then so I'm going to drag this one down because I know it's going to be a few different elements. So let's for a while pretend that those other ones don't exist. And then we're going to connect our same thing as we've done before, the Hugging Face Hub to our LLM model to the agent. And then so in this instance, it's a JSON agent. So making like you can JSON query. And then so you can see here that this one has a toolkit. And then we can see it's a different color as well. And then so I'm going to collapse these back up. And then what we can see here is that we have toolkits. And then so in this instance, when we drop down the toolkit, it makes it pretty straightforward. In this instance, we've got 4 different options, but obviously the one that we would want in this instance is a JSON toolkit, since we're doing JSON. And then we connect that there. And then we can also see that on top of that, we need a spec. And then so, again, this goes back to one of the things where it's not directly intuitive as to where exactly that you would get a spec from. And then so just playing essentially what we can see is when we go through, the good thing though is that it is color coded, so we can see that the spec is red, and then so we know that it's going to be in one of these since it's either in toolkits or tools because it's red, and then so that does give us kind of like a little bit of intuitiveness there. And then what we can do is just drag something over here, and then I want to illustrate this. If we try to connect, we can see that it won't, like the good thing about this particular interface and this particular software and how it works is that it won't let you mess something up. Like it won't, like if you want to, like, I don't know, you know, for example, like if I'm trying to connect a tool to a toolkit, rather than like a spec, it won't let me do it. Like it knows intuitively to not allow you to do this. So we have that there. And then if we go through on the interface, I'm drawing a blank honestly as to where exactly the spec would be to find it here. What I do know, again, we can go based off of the fact that it's color coded, but it's not, I'm not finding the spec. Good thing that I can show you guys here is on this, we can go ahead and zoom out, and I do have one where I have built out a few previous examples, and then so these ones are a little bit more complicated. So then you can see here where I found the spec before and the JSON spec, which should be under tools, I'm pretty sure. And I can go back through and find it, but again, this gives you kind of the fact that you have to know what you're doing within this, but you can match them up. And then so going back to knowing what you're doing within this, if you look at my flows, like while they look cool, I have a lot of familiarity with lucid charts and playing around with like flows and building out flows and templates off of this. These are all like essentially very simple and basic applications. So in this particular instance, this is using a llama model, and then it's essentially just initializing. And then within that, it gives it some memory, and then I want it to do a Bing search, and then return results off of that Bing search, and then the memory allows it to kind of just have some sort of remembrance of the conversation and the results if people want to, like, for example, like tie those together or tie the search string together in this instance. So this is honestly kind of like the most complicated type of base flow and that I would be able to build out, and that you would typically be looking at here. This is a lot more simpler of a flow, which is essentially again starting off with a llama model, and then just making essentially a JSON call, and then ending with a JSON spec, and then where essentially you just put the path for essentially what you would want the JSON call to do in this specific instance, or what data you are wanting the llama model to act off of, based off of the what you're feeding it there. And then also on this same flow, just kind of giving a simpler illustration of what you can do as far as building out simple agents. And then with this, it's essentially you start with your prompt template, and then you can build out and connect different templates for agents. So the good thing where you would use this type of simplistic flow would be if you wanted to build out like a very simple like chatbot, where you're building out essentially all the chat paths and the chat flows, and then you essentially can build out like the pre-prompts and guide people through exactly how they would use the interface here. So this is essentially a good overview, I think, of LangFlow and a good introduction. I can go through and just drop through the different tabs, so you can see that there's a lot that you can do with the application itself. Again, if you get more complicated with this, you can actually be able to chain LLMs together. So if you wanted to do different things, you wanted to chain math equations together, you can get extremely complicated with these flows. So I think that's kind of the last thing to illustrate here is don't take what I'm doing simplistically as everything that you can do within this. Document loaders would be a good one here. This is kind of like an area that's being explored a lot right now with a lot of different apps. So for example, if you want people to be able to load their own text file, or if you want people to be able to load PDFs, that's a common one that you're seeing right now. Really common app where like you see people like upload the PDF and then have the LLM be able to read the data back to you. That's exactly where you would start here, and then this allows you to essentially do that and create apps based off of those types of things. And then again, this is for prompts. Like prompts would be more for like building out the different agents, and then toolkits and tools would be pretty standard. And then utilities is so. For example, the best thing for utilities to call out would be you have pretty much access to any sort of like external environment that you would want to have the LLM have access to. So if you wanted to have access to a specific SQL database, you could do that. If you wanted to search either through Google or Bing, you have both options here to be able to do that. So you can give it web access, you can give it access to Wikipedia, And then lastly, the one I think big one to call out is actually Wolfram Alpha API wrapper. And then this is really straightforward, but like essentially what Wolfram Alpha API wrapper does in this instance is it would give it multimodality functionality. So if you want to be able to, for example, like have not just text-based prompts, but you want to be able to speak to it, to the LLM, have the LLM speak back to you via audio and video. Wolfram Alpha is kind of the what exactly you would use that for. And then just highlighting the last two, vector stores. So if you want to connect specific Chroma, like to connect to ChromaDB, or the last one is wrappers, is a text request wrapper. And then if you want to query a library, and then so just highlighting the kind of the sky's the limit as to what your imagination is with these tools. Just highlighting again, like the big one that I think people are focusing on right now at the moment is document loaders, and that seems to be kind of the easiest place and the most place where there's a lot of need for this type of application right now. But I think as people dive more into this technology, there's going to be a lot more that you can do besides just document loaders within this. Like the whole goal is to essentially make your LLM into an agent, make it be able to do different things, query this database, and then take action off of it. And then so that's kind of the going back to the intro of this video, that two-step approach that the whole LangFlow and LangChain is based off of is enabling it with access to data, and then also enabling it to take action off of that access to the data. And that's kind of the most important and one of the most important parts of the platform overall. So I hope that overall this is a good explanation and a good introduction for anyone that is looking into LangFlow. And the benefit of LangFlow again is, as you can see here, it's a GUI interface for building out any sort of like app or extension that you would want to make on an LLM. So you can do this without knowing how to code. It does require, again, some knowledge and some background experience reading through documentation and understanding exactly how this interface works, but you can do it without code. And so hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.